In the outer reaches of the Kashan Belt, where mining colonies clung to asteroids like barnacles on a dying whale, humanity was just beginning to stretch its limbs among the stars. The Drosari Empire had ruled these sectors for over 6 centuries, subjugating dozens of species, most through commerce, many through violence. When humans arrived, they were expected to fall in line. But humans, as history often repeated, had a habit of not fitting molds. Kalen Voss, an engineer for Terraforma Incorporated, had taken a job on Orvis 9, a craggy industrial colony co-owned by Drosari nobles and Earth syndicates. He preferred machines to people, algorithms to politics. But that changed the day he saw her, chained, silent, and draped in gray robes so tattered they looked like woven ash. She had 4 fingers, violet skin, and a vertical scar running from her temple to jaw. A slave collar hummed softly around her neck. He learned her name only because she whispered it when he offered her food. "Rina," she said, as if afraid the syllables might offend him. She was assigned to carry tools, clean waste ports, and kneel when spoken to. Kalen hated it. Not just the collar or the way the overseers barked orders, but the way no one else cared. She wasn't human, they said. Just Drosari property. Just an alien. But Kalen had seen her eyes. Those golden feral irises watching everything, missing nothing. There was intelligence there. Pain too. And pride, buried deep like a half-lit ember. Weeks passed. Kalen kept finding excuses to talk to her. He asked her questions no one else would. About her homeworld, her people, what music they listened to, what stars she remembered from her childhood. At first, she would only answer in nods or brief words. But eventually, Rina spoke more freely, especially when alone with him in the maintenance corridors. "My people were nomads," she said one evening, her voice barely above the hum of coolant pumps. "We traveled the plasma currents between nebulae. We didn't own land, we danced with it." Kalen smiled. "Sounds beautiful." She tilted her head. Beauty is not a word humans use for things they don't understand. He didn't argue. He just said, "I think you're wrong." She blinked. "About what?" "You're very beautiful." She froze. Literally. Every muscle in her lean, starved body went still. Her breathing halted. Her golden eyes widened as if the words had knocked the air from her lungs. He waited, expecting confusion or sarcasm. But instead Rina looked away. "Don't say that again." "Why not?" Kalen asked, confused. "Because I'll believe it." And then she walked off, robes trailing behind her like falling smoke. That night Kalen couldn't sleep. The next morning she avoided him. Days passed. The slave collar still hummed. The overseers still shouted. But Rina refused to meet his eyes. He'd made her uncomfortable, he thought. Or worse, put her in danger. But on the 5th day, she slipped into his workbench bay after lights out. "You meant it," she said. "I did. I was born in a noble caste," she whispered. "Before the Drosari invaded my planet. My name meant starlight that outshines silence. They stripped it from me. Called me Subject 42M. No one has looked at me as anything but cargo in 8 years. And then you." She touched her collar. "You don't understand what that does to a mind." He stood. "Then let's take it off." Her eyes flared. "That's a death sentence. They'll know. We'll make it look like a malfunction," he said, pulling out his toolkit. "Just give me a few hours." And that night, under the buzzing light of a failing overhead conduit, he removed the slave collar. Middle continued. Rina wept silently, her body trembling as if someone had turned off gravity. She didn't run. She didn't escape. Instead, she returned to work the next morning, unshackled. When the overseers asked, she pretended to panic and act dizzy, faking a medical glitch. Kaylin had planted the report logs to back her story. The ruse worked for a time, but something had changed. Kaylin noticed the way she moved now, shoulders higher, back straighter. She began humming again, softly, a melody strange and ancient, echoing from the stars. She began speaking to the other alien laborers too, convincing them to stand taller, act like people instead of cargo. And then the report came in. A transport ship filled with unprocessed laborers had vanished en route to Drosari territory. Rumors of rebellion, smuggling, prizing. The local noble, Lord Serex Voluan, summoned all workers to the command bay. "Someone has tampered with imperial property," he snarled, his voice dripping with contempt. "And when I find them, they will beg for disintegration." Rena stood in the back row, expression unreadable. Kaylin stood beside her, pretending to be just another grease-stained mechanic. That night Rena met him again. "They know something," she whispered. "They're scanning collars now. The old logs. Someone will notice mine's missing." "Then we get you out," Kaylin said. "And go where? Earth wouldn't shelter me. The Alliance won't recognize former slaves. You'll be branded a traitor." Kaylin hesitated. "What if we don't run?" She blinked. "You want to die here?" "No," he said. "I want to fight here." He showed her the plans. Hidden under his bench was a network of dormant terraforming drones, decommissioned after an atmospheric accident. But Kaylin had been quietly reprogramming them for months. A defense system. Contingency. For this moment. She stared at him in silence. "You would start a war. For me. For us," he said. "You gave them hope. They're looking to you now. Not me. You're the fire. I'm just the fuel." Rena stepped closer, her hand brushing his. "Then let's burn the whole cage down." Ending. The rebellion began at dusk. Drones surged from the mining caverns, disabling Drosari communications and locking down weapons caches. Alien workers, all species, stripped out of labor rags and donned armor cobbled from maintenance suits. Rena stood atop a loader platform, her voice amplified across the bay. "You were taught to kneel. Say stand. You were told you were less. I say you are alive. And today we take back our names." The Drosari guards fell quickly, surprised and overwhelmed. Kaylin and Rena made it to the central command tower, disabling the security grid. She hacked the broadcast system, sending their rebellion live to nearby systems. Spread like wildfire. A week later, Drosari reinforcements arrived. But they found the mines empty. The workers had escaped through hidden transport tunnels. Kaylin and Rena weren't among them. They had stayed behind, planting false data trails, misdirecting scans, sabotaging pursuit systems. Eventually, they too fled, aboard a stolen cruiser retrofitted with stealth plating. The universe labeled them fugitives. But the colonies whispered another word. Legends. Months later, drifting through a solar nursery, Kaylin handed Rena a small object. Mirror. Made. Polished from mining glass. She stared at her reflection, scar, eyes and all. "I still don't see it," she murmured. "You don't have to," he said. "I'll keep reminding you until you do." She looked at him then, and for the first time without hesitation smiled. "You are very beautiful," she whispered back. And this time he froze in silence.